One of the core instructional philosophies out there, regardless of whether you're trying to hit a driver or an iron or a putter, is face overrides path 4-1, right? So if you're going to fix someone's game, you got to fix the face at impact, right? So the impact of hitting a putt square is absolutely essential. So that's why we focus so hard at address, is fixing that. And then we've developed processes like torque balance that help sustain it throughout the motion. So aim is a very, very complex thing. It's not just the aim of the putter head. It's like, what's it doing during the motion? You know, so we have many forms of aim. We have static aim, we have dynamic aim, we have effective aim, we have targeting aim. So when we're talking about aim, we're going to talk about it in many different forms. It's a very complex concept, because aim, as I just said, could be any of those four things. And they all come together as one kind of basic philosophy of how your procedure is going to work. So understanding initially how to aim your putter correctly is important. What it's going to do during motion. What are you doing to get away or compensate or not compensate, and then how are you going to target that to something? So the good analogy would be, I've got a gun, right? I've got a gun that shoots. I've got a scope that has to be sighted. I've got a bullet that's going to have a certain amount of gunpowder in it and a certain amount of weight to the bullet, and then I'm going to take that whole thing, put it together, and then I'm going to target it at an object. Okay, and it's very similar to putting. We just have different, the ball is part of the process, the putter head's part of the process, how stable the putter is during motion, person's technique, how their body works, path, and then how do I target that? So putting is very enigmatic, and it's because there's so many things that are involved in it, very complex and very simple. So my job is to help boil these things out and talk about them in a simple, clear process, each one of those through this whole process, so that you can kind of go, okay, I get what's going on. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because that's not going to help me. This is really important. I've got to not look at a putter and say, oh, this suits my eye. I got to use what functions. You often hear good players say, I'll putt with a coffee can and a stick if I can make putts with it. And I hope you get to that point where you will putt with what you need, not what you want. And there are two different scenarios there. We can have a putter that we think looks totally awesome and cool and is popular, and I bought it so what looks in my bag, what people see in my bag are going to go, oh my God, that's such a cool putter. I envy that guy's putter. And that's what drives the industry. That's what drives the collecting market. But in the end, what works? And why does it work? And why doesn't it work? Right? So hopefully I'll give you some insight into why you do what you do, where you've been focusing in maybe incorrect ways and maybe in good ways, and from there we're gonna build I hope a phenomenal putting procedure for yourselves.